Hello and welcome to another pattern recognition video featuring the pin tactic. So we'll see some patterns involving that. I set the rating from 2,000 to 3,000. Now even if you're lower rated than that, at least these are all pins or pins are involved, so that should give you a good hint. Remember, with pattern recognition, you usually want to solve a set of puzzles and you do them more than once. That way you don't just forget what you see, as far as tactics and patterns. All right, I'll try and do 10 puzzles. Pause at any time if you need to. The first puzzle here looks like, the rook is moved forward here. Now, I don't know. I didn't see if maybe they captured something. Otherwise, I'm wondering why they didn't just capture the queen. But anyway, it's white's turn here. So what do you do? Now, you want to look for checks, captures, and threats normally. You want to ask what your opponent, what their last move achieved, what's different in the position. Well, before this rook was guarding the other rook. Now it's not. So the obvious move is just to go capture here. And then we're just ahead by a rook. So, and they're in check. So if we take that, they don't want to block, or then we can just take that rook with check as well. So capture, the king will probably go here. And then what do we do next? Well, we can't take this rook and trade material down further, or else you have this check, and then the rooks would block, but then it would end up being a checkmate. So let's take a look at this. If we go here, check, and the king just runs here. Now what do we do? Well, maybe we could go here, double up the rooks, and then if their rook captures, we capture with the queen. We don't want to capture with the other rook because of this check and mate threat down here on our back rank. So I don't know. It's looking like we should just capture there. They'll have to run there. But, where does the pin tactic come into play here? So I don't know. I'll try this move and see what they recommend next. I'm thinking we should just double our rooks up. Something like that. Although there could be a threat of pushing this queen here and pinning the rook to our king, so then black will have a good pin. And then they can threaten maybe, well, if they try to push that pawn, our queen could capture. So I don't know. Let's take a look at that. That's what they want. And so here's a pin happening. But, I assume that in these random puzzles that white would be using the pin tactic. So maybe there's something we're missing here. Well, I'm thinking we could just move the king, but we have to be careful how we do that, because if we move our king to get out of the pin, there's still this threat if we move our rook for the queen to land here and deliver a mate. So what do we do now? You'd think we'd want to get our king out of this possible pin. So I don't know. Maybe we go there. I mean, we still have two defenders. They have two attackers. But if they push this forward, our queen cannot take, I guess, because they'll capture our queen. So what can we do here? Do we move our king the other way? Maybe something like that? No, they don't want that. What about this way? They don't want that. So what am I missing here? Do we attack the queen and try and get rid of that pin? I guess so. So, I mean, now the queen has to make a decision, and it helps break the pin, I guess. Then once the queen has to move, I mean, the queen could even just take this maybe. Because if we take, then there's this threat here with a back rank mate. All right, let me see what they show in the analysis here. So if we get to this point, what if they take that? Queen takes g4. Now they're saying rook just takes e7. All right. So apparently, what was the best move? Queen over to b5, something like that. But, you know, then you're just down material. All right. Well, let's move on to puzzle number 2. If I want to get 10 of these puzzles in, I better get moving here. Okay, we have b5 being played here. What did that move accomplish? Well, I guess it allows the queen to maybe go here and target this pawn. Also, the threat of moving here with a checkmate threat. Ooh. Although the king, I guess, would have time to capture there. What do we do? Should we go ahead and capture that pawn anyway? Or do we have something better if we want to look at checks, captures, and threats first? Wow, okay, checks. Oh, excuse me. Well, we have a lot of checks possible. We could go here with our queen, chasing the king onto the H file. And then we could check. Rook takes, queen takes with check. The king would move back to g8. Then what? We bring our other rook in, trying to drum up an attack that way. So, oh, and also they have a threat of a counter check here, but like I said, we could take that pawn. Although, oh, maybe we can't because then you have this check. All right. Well, we could also threaten. Let's see, this move with the mate and 1 here with the queen. Okay, what other checks do we have? I don't think we have any other good checks other than this. I mean, this is kind of an obvious move. The king would be forced to move to the H file. If we go here, they take, and our queen takes, checks them. They have to move the king back to here. Then, I mean, I guess we could go there. But then, I don't know, they could, that king would have room to run. Huh. So what if we did that? Or, what if we just did that? Threaten to mate here by putting the rook there. They could still defend that by going there. Then we could move that here. Oh, although if we do that, if we move this, that gives them time to check. And that's looking a little bit dangerous. So maybe we have to be more forcing and deliver a check immediately. So we're back to this move. So if we go there, check, the king moves to the H file, then we check here, if they take, our queen takes with check. All right, might as well take a look at it. So that's what they wanted. Now do we continue with that plan? Going here? No, they don't want that. What else do we have? Well, we could trade queens, but then we're behind in material. We're down on knights. We probably don't want to be trading more material. What now? Do we bring the other rook in? So did they say they don't want us to go there? No. Bring the other rook in? Yes. So that's what they wanted. Now we're threatening a mate in one. We're in check. I mean, I guess, do we take? We don't want to do that. Or maybe we could take. We could just take. If they check, we could block. Then they would checkmate us. So we have to move. And if the queen can go here and check us if we go on a dark square. Maybe we go there. All right, now what? We don't want to step in front. Well, could just go there, I guess. Do we do that? No. They want us to go there? No. Oh, wow. What am I missing here? We're in check. We got to do something about that. Okay, well, what is that all about? Now we can just go there and take. So if they check us, what now? Go there. I don't know. That one was kind of tricky, I guess. What do we have in the position now? Well, there's a threat of a mate here. They could just defend that. So what do they say in the computer analysis? So once we're in this position, they're saying queen to h6. Queen to h6 to defend. But then we have what? Queen to e8 check. King has to move. Now we have rook at f to g5. So we just build up the attack. All right, it's showing white's winning there. I better keep this moving along. All right, we're only on puzzle 3 here. So on to puzzle number 3. And what do we have? A bishop was under attack by our queen. So the bishop retreats back, now counterattacking our queen. It looks like we can just go ahead and take the bishop with our knight. And then if they take our bishop, then our knight can take. So if we take, they could capture, attacking our queen. Oh, but we have this threat here. You know, so we're threatening that as well. So maybe we have to do something else. If we take, they have to go here, but then if we go there, we're threatening a back rank mate that they have to deal with. Wow, a lot going on here. So this is the thing when you have a lot of higher level or higher rated puzzles. There's a lot more calculation involved. If you're trying to work on your pattern recognition, you should do easier puzzles. But if you want to do both, you can do higher rated puzzles to work on your calculation and your pattern recognition. But it's a little more difficult, obviously. Okay, so we go there. I mean, that looks like the obvious move. They would have to go there. We recapture. We're threatening a back rank mate that they have to deal with. So, how do they even deal with that? Maybe they capture this way, attacking our queen. All right, let's get this moving for the sake of getting the video or keeping the video moving along. So now our queen is under attack. If we check, it's no longer a back rank mate because the king can go here. So what do we do with our queen? We could go, well, we have to defend our bishop as well. Now we have a bishop under attack. So maybe we go here or here. Or if we let them take our bishop, we could go here with a discovered check. We could also go here, threatening a checkmate. So how do they deal with that? And maybe if we want to look at checks first, and you always want to keep an eye on checks, so I guess I should look at that first. If he goes, or if we check, he has to go there. Remember, when a king is being checked, there are 3 options or less. Capture the checking piece, block it, or run from it. So he can't, well, he could block with his own bishop, I guess. instead of running forward. But then, I don't know, that allows us to move our pawn and check. So if the king moves forward, then what do we do? Do we take? He could take our rook. So, man, there's just a lot going on here. Oh, we can't go here because their queen will just take our queen. So, do we go there? Something like that? No. Do they want us to check? Yes, they do want the check. Wow. Okay. Maybe we ignore the attack on our rook, but now our queen is under attack as well. Huh. We could go there, and then we're threatening that, but then they could take our bishop. Okay. Another tricky one. Wow. Okay. Our queen's under attack, so we have to deal with that. I mean, I guess we could go here, defending our rook. If they take... Oh, well, then we have this mate threat right here, which would be a checkmate. All right, let's keep this moving along. On to puzzle number 4. A pawn is just pushed forward towards our king side here, gaining more space. What do we do? Well, if we look at checks first, we do have this bishop capture, although they could capture, and then we would be down material in that exchange. So if we look at the material total, we have 6 pawns. Our opponent only has 5. Excuse me. They have 3 minor pieces. So they're up a bishop. Well, what should we do here? Another tricky one. Okay, if we're looking for a pin, I mean, we have a pin on the knight, or excuse me, a pin on the king here already. So maybe we just go ahead and take. If they take, then the knight is pinned. Then we can just add another attacker. So remember, if you have a pinned piece, once you pin it, try and add more pressure to it to try and win the pinned piece. So yeah, maybe we go there. They take. That knight is pinned. If we go here to attack it, they could go there to defend. Then how do we add more pressure? Do we attack the bishop once that bishop moves? Maybe then. Okay, let's start moving, making some moves here. No, that's not what they want. Wow. Okay. Maybe they want us to... What's the other option? You go there, that doesn't work. Okay, maybe we attack that. But now after they take our knight, well then what do we do? We take, why would they go there? Why would you want to go there? I mean, they're attacking this pawn, but now we can just take their rook, which doesn't make any sense because after that we can take their knight. What? I don't know. That just didn't make sense to me there. If I look at the analysis. Okay, so they go there. They're saying the best move is rook at E to D1. So after they take, we take rook to D6 is the best move, huh? Well, what if the king just moves over? Oh, it can't because of this attack here. So the king can't move over. Huh. All right, well, on to puzzle number 5. Bishop has just developed here, or well, not developed, but pushed forward, attacking our rook, which is lined up on their king. So we have a pinned pawn here. Can we make use of that? And our rook, excuse me, our rook is under attack with limited squares. I mean, I guess it could move off to the side, but then you would have this attack. So maybe the rook could go there to block and attack their rook. But maybe we go here first. If we look at the checks first, can't block that, can't capture the bishop because it's protected by the queen. So if the king moves here, well, now we can move there. Oh, no, we can't. Because, well, I guess we still could. All right, we could also go there, capturing the knight with a check. That's pretty forcing, I guess. They would have to take with their pawn, freeze our queen up, but to do what? Huh. All right, I don't know. Maybe we deliver a check there. I mean, if we're looking for a pin tactic, these are a little trickier than I expected them to be. We go there. If the king tries to go this way, well, then we can just go there, chase the king to the E file. Oh, wait, no, the king can't go there because of our knight here. Okay, so yeah, maybe that's what we need to do then. We go there. The king can only go here. Well, then, if we deliver a check, the king is forced to take, and then we have a discovered attack with our queen. So maybe that's what we have to do. Okay, now we can take the rook. But where's best? I mean, do we take the rook with a discovered attack? Do we have anything better than that? That's probably best because it's a check. Now we could move over and defend our knight and get the rook to safety at the same time. And we're threatening a mate as well. So if we go there, oh no, they don't like that? Come on. What do they want us to do? I mean, we could deliver another check, but then the king would take, and then what? We check here, start chasing the king. I don't know. Okay, so I guess that's what they want. We go there. We can't take that pawn because the queen is guarding. Wow. What do they want here? Come on. Another check with the queen. Okay, what does that do? Forces them forward, where we'll be able to check with either rook. If we go here, they could block. So, I don't know. Once again, let's see what the analysis reveals. Um, so we're in this position. They recommend king up to e2. Now, oh wow, if that happened, okay, yeah, that's the problem. We capture there and then grab their queen. All right, well, on to puzzle number 6 here. Okay, what happened? The rook just moves over, checking our king. So we can't block because there's a pin. We probably have to protect our rooks. So our only option, I think, is to go there. Unless we block. We don't want to block. I mean, if we block, they could just take. So, I mean, I guess we got to go there. All right, so now we have another threat building. The problem is we could go there maybe, pinning that knight to the rook. But is that the best thing to do? Man, there's some kind of threat like this where we target that along with the queen, but they could just defend. I don't know. That looks like... Oh, so that is not the way to go. Huh. What do we want to do here? Attack their queen like that? Oh yeah, because the bishop is threatening. Well, no, the bishop is not. I don't know. We go there. Man, I don't know. These were tough, I guess. I don't... let me know in the comments what you thought, if you had difficulty with these. I don't know how helpful these are as far as pin patterns either. I mean, there's some pins going on in here, but so what is happening here? All right, I'm just going to move on. That way we can get the final 4 puzzles done. Have an even 10. Okay, we just had a capture. What's the obvious move? To recapture there, but then the bishop could capture. Also, that bishop is not protected. Do we just take the bishop? If we look at checks first, we do have a check here. And that looks like probably the best move. They would have to block with their knight. So take with check. They block with the knight. Now what? All right, check, block. Now what? Do we take their bishop next? How much material are we down? We're down a minor piece. 6 pawns versus 5. But I don't know. This is the obvious move to just capture with check. They would have to block. I mean, we could add more pressure to that pinned knight by... we can't move our bishop or the rook will take us. So, what about the knight? Can our knight get involved? All right, I don't know, I'm just going to make the move. Now what? Do we just take the bishop, gather up material here? What now, though? Huh. No, they don't want that. Come on. Do we just take with our rook? So maybe we take with the rook. Their queen captures. We deliver a check. Their queen blocks that. We check again with the bishop. Huh, okay, that's what they want. Now we just grab their queen. Okay, another tricky one. On to puzzle number 8. The rook comes towards the center, grabbing the half-open D file. We have a lot of pieces lined up around their king. The pair of rooks, so we have that battery, the queen, the bishop is kind of getting in the action a little bit. So that bishop's also unprotected. Their queen could capture. What is most forcing? Do we sacrifice a rook here? I mean, that's the forcing move. Once they're being checked after we capture, the obvious move is they just take with the pawn. Now what? Also, maybe we check. If the king goes onto the light squares, we can check again. Also, if the king goes to the dark squares, we can check with a rook and then maybe grab this. So, all right, that is not what they wanted. Man, these are annoying. I'm getting sick of these puzzles. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble finding these. All right, we have a pin. Can we take advantage of this pin? I don't know. Maybe we go there. They don't want that. Okay, let's check that. Now, why is that a good move? These are just really annoying. We can threaten a mate in 1 maybe by going there. No, it's not even a mate in 1 if we put the queen here because they can run there. But then we could go there and then pick off this rook next. So is that what they want? Huh. So that's what they want. I guess now they'll have to move the king and we can just take there and it could be a mate. So maybe they have to block with the queen and we just take their queen. Okay, on to the final 2 puzzles. And hopefully you're doing better on these than I am. Okay, we've pinned the knight, or they have pinned the knight to our rook. So we have a pin. But I don't know. I was expecting in these puzzles for us to be using the pin in a way to win. So I don't know how good these puzzles were for you. Now, the knight is protected, so we're fine. Oh, well, I don't know. They got two attackers. We only have one knight defending the other knight. So maybe we just try and go for an attack here. And if we move this knight, like I said, they could take our rook. The queen could take here, maybe. So maybe we do that. Then we're threatening check, check, and a mate with our queen here. Huh, okay. Oh, well, we can't move that Y because we're in check. All right. So we got to go there, I guess. Oh, no, we need to take. We definitely need to take. What? Come on. Oh, my God. These are disgusting. I'm getting sick of these puzzles. Now what? Why did you not just take? Because then the queen would have been checking us and we'd have to move there anyway. So what the heck do you do now? We just take? No? Oh my gosh. I don't know. These are not fun to me. I hope you're enjoying them more than I am. I'm about sick of these. We don't want to check or the bishop will capture us. So what do we do here? Do we go there? No. I don't know. Do we take that? Now what? I guess we take? No, come on. Check. Now what? Check again? Yeah, because if they try to run, we can just pick that off. And if they block, then we still pick that rook off. Man, all right, on to the final puzzle. I'm ready for these to be done. Okay. This is probably the most frustrating set of puzzles that I've done in a while. Okay. What do we have here? The rook just centralized, pinning the bishop to our king. So, what's the threat? Taking? Now we could just take with the knight, or the pawn. So, if we're looking to attack, what can we do? We could go there, but they would capture. Then we recapture. Maybe we get out of that pin and then get our other rook open so it can do something. All right, I don't know. What should we be doing here? Move the king. What checks do we have? We have a check there. The king would just move and attack us. Then what? Then nothing. Then our rook's under attack. I don't know. I guess we could take their rook. They have to take with the rook. Then there's no longer a pin and we could grab this. So maybe that's what they want. All right, now we have two pieces under attack. So how do we handle that? We probably have to counterattack in some way. Wow. But if we move our bishop, they could maybe go here. Oh my gosh. Now what? I don't know. if we go there, we're attacking their rook, but then they could just pin us. And then they're attacking our knight with the king. If the knight moves, they just take our bishop. Do we attack this way? Well, they could check. We have to get out of the way. So maybe we just go there, attacking their bishop. If they check us, we can move our king and we're still attacking their bishop. If they move their bishop, it gives us time to move ours. So I guess that was the way to go. And it turns out we're just ahead the knight there. Okay, I hope you did better on those puzzles than I did. Feel free to leave comments, like and subscribe to support the channel if you haven't already. Thank you for watching and have a super chess day.